Stop. Terry's like trying to climb onto the. Terry, stop.
She just wants to talk.
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, Katie Tolbert.
Morning.
Basket by Glory, Cookie.
Let's go.
And some phone number that is out of way too many digits. Big Mike, he's missing. Where are you, Mike?
I'm in Franklin County in western Maine. I'm in Rangeley. Staying at the family property, cabin on a lake. Doesn't get much better.
Tell me a little bit about this trip. How was the 13-hour drive up and all of that?
Well, it's a 17-hour drive. It went pretty well.
Shit.
Jesus.
Yeah, we drive through the night. We only hit some traffic in the D.C. area because some dumb person thought it would be a great idea to cut 4 lanes down to 1. But yeah, I mean, that was the only major incident. Boys did okay. Family's good. But it is very relieving once you pull down the dirt road and see the lake and see the cabin and know that you have concluded your driving for the week. Yeah, I mean, it's great. Other than the very poor internet that, you know, is somewhat disturbing that I might not be able to watch Dynamite on Wednesday.
Well, that's fine, though. I mean, we will be able to...
We'll tell you all about it, Mike.
Yeah, let you know what happened on Dynamite.
So this town, you know, it's big for a town in the summer-ish. Not quite. I think it's like a total of 2,000 people live here in the summer. And one of the prime places to hang out, because it's Maine and there's not a ton of sun all the time and good weather, is the bowling alley, right? So this is the best place in breakfast, apparently, to get breakfast in this town is the bowling alley. So we went the other day. Super nice. They have like a recessed stage. They've got like lounge chairs and like fireplaces. They got billiards. And I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be the place. I'm just going to come to the bar and watch wrestling and be that guy with my headphones in. And that was the plan. And then I found out that they're closed on Wednesdays.
Oh, well, you would think that it would be league night on Wednesdays. Are there any other bars in Maine?
There are more bars. I don't know if they're going to have the Wi-Fi that this place has. I'm debating about scoping it out and potentially just sitting in the parking lot. Because like it's not like they're going to turn the router off, right?
Right, but Mike, I would also say that they probably have cable at some of these places, and you can request them to put the TV on.
I don't know if there is one sports bar.
But that's
my next option. I know, but like, Aaron, you've watched wrestling with me before. You know, I don't enjoy when there's crowds and talking because want to be more in tune with the story and what people are saying, not just the in-ring work talking to me. I want to hear what the wrestlers want to say. I want to hear Jericho scream bloody murder as Nick Gage pizza cutters his face.
Can we briefly touch on that, Mike? Mike,
yeah.
This week on AEW Dynamite, since this is a pro wrestling podcast, we're just watching professional wrestling, and all of a sudden MJF says that Jericho's next match in this series of 5 is going to be with somebody that is who was arrested for robbing a bank without a mask on and all of these things. And I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, that sounds like that really dumb guy, Nick Gage. So this week on Dynamite, in front of Bojangles Coliseum, we're going to be in attendance to Chris Jericho against Murder, Death, Kill Gang, Nick Gage. What in the world? What is happening in America right now that we get to see this live Wednesday in Charlotte, North Carolina?
I was watching on my phone as we're driving, and I audibly, as soon as MJF said he was once arrested without a mask, I said, no way. And then they announced it, and I'm just like, son of a bitch. I was like, what? I was like, Chris Jericho is going to wrestle Nick Gage in Charlotte, and I'm not going to get to see it.
So that'll be your second most bizarre match that you have not seen live. Our other match that we got to see live would be one Keiji Muto, or the Great Muta, against one George South that we saw live. Another match that I never thought I would see live, and it just kind of happened, you know? Mike, with the Nick Gage announcement, you have to watch that at least. And then Proud and Powerful against FTR, you don't get to see that live.
No, I don't. And I'm really, again, kind of disappointed because I know FTR always puts on bangers. And one of the greatest matches I did get to see live was the FTR 4-way tag team match in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I know that is going to probably tear the house down.
Right.
I don't think it'll main event. Well, maybe. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are you going to start off the show? If you were Tony Khan, would you start off the show with Nick Gage against Chris Jericho at the 8 o'clock time slot, or would you start off with FTR against Proud and Powerful? That is a tough.
Well, yeah, Tony's usually pretty good about starting off with a heater, and so I could see them opening too, being that both boys are from North Carolina, and just kind of going from there and just give them friggin' 25 minutes to just set the tone.
I agree. Mike, any other things happening this week?
Nope, just living the dream. I did meet one of my goals for my vacation, which was to road to town solo, which is kind of a thing people in my family do in our Rangeley rowboat. It totaled 6 miles. I have some small blisters on my hands, but I did it. So I met that goal day 2. So I don't really have anything else planned for the rest of the week, which is kind of nice.
Cookie, is that a family goal for your family as well, to row to town in your family rowboat?
My dad is actually the only person that's been in a rowboat, so I think that might be a goal for one single person. I've never been in a rowboat, my friend.
Speaking of water sports, Mike, before we move on, I do want to tell you, I want Tolbert to set the scene of what happened yesterday at Jungle Rapids.
Jungle Rapids.
So, we go to Jungle Rapids every year for Varnum's birthday.
I'm a man child. I enjoy going down water slides.
Yeah. Had not been for COVID last year, this would have been the 4th annual Varnum Jungle Rapids B-Day Bash. You know, it's beginning to be a thing. We're going to have to make T-shirts next year, probably.
It's the birthday reunion at Jungle Rapids.
Yeah. But, as we get to Jungle Rapids, we realize security's been beefed up a little bit, probably because groups like us go to Jungle Rapids once a year, every year.
Yes.
So we get there, and our usual thing is, you fill your beach bag full of airplane bottles. You get slushies, you get frozen lemonades, you get your beverages, and you dump a Bacardi in there. You drink about 4 of those, and then you hit the water slides. That's what we do. It's awesome. But the beefed up security, I think Aaron on his person had about 15 airplane bottles.
Yes.
In his bag, and so did the rest of our entourage. So we see they're checking bags pretty aggressively.
There is a bag check this year, Mike. A bag check.
Yeah.
It just means you're going to be better at hiding them.
It was almost like an episode of Locked Up Abroad. When you approach the guy, it's like when you're in the airport trying to make it through customs. We had a couple in our group go to the bathroom and rearrange, some supplies, tuck them away a little better. Aaron did not have the time to do that, and he tries to no sell the bag check line, which is not a good move, Aaron. I thought, oh, great, he's automatically busted.
No,
He
let me
tries to
tell you.
walk
Let me tell you, Tolbert. This is one thing that I have learned my entire life. Act like you've been there before. Go in with the false confidence of a middle-class white male and just hand him the bag.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was like, oh, great, we're busted. And he has loosely 15 airplane bottles on the bottom of his bag with like a towel over it. And the guy clearly sees it. I mean, there's no way he didn't see all the airplane bottles, but he gets through. And one by one, we wait anxiously on the other side as our crew gets cleared. But we made it through.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't just do like the classic, leave one for them to find and then keep the other 14.
Well, we did. I originally thought maybe that would be the case, but I think once he finds one, he's looking for more. Yeah. Nobody's just going with one airplane bottle.
That's a risky move.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, man, I got a big water bottle with a big open mouth. I could probably fit 15 airplane bottles just in there and then dump them out in my bag once I'm through.
You could, but then you would be busted. And I will tell you one thing. I did recognize the guy doing the bag check, and maybe we had a little understanding. I knew who he was.
Of course he did.
He was a Brunswick County teacher, and this is his job on the side during the summertime. I'm like, hey, man, we've covered y'all's sports at your high school. Yeah, it's great. So it was a very nerve-wracking. I almost had to take a Xanax at Jungle Rapids.
And Mike, I'm sure you know the familiar Varnum like stressed out signs. He's stiff body posture. He's got the straps of his backpack. He's pacing back and forth,
hands on the hips.
But we made it through. We had a hell of a time riding some water slides. I oiled myself up with tanning oil to get some extra speed. It was great. The thing about going to Jungle Rapids though, with a group of your older friends and you're an older person, you have to stay with the group, because when you get separated from the group, you find yourself in a line with a bunch of children and a teenage girl is placing your raft for you to slide your big hairy body into and be like, yeah, I'm looking for my friends, and then take off down a water slide.
I will say one thing. We were in a group of so it was like me. So we had another guy, Bronco, there with us, who's a part of our rugby team. We were in line. Me and Bronco were standing there, and there's these two 8-year-old boys and standing in front of us. We're about to go down the half pipe slide. The half pipe slide is actually kind of a scary ride at Jungle Rapids if you're not ready for it. It is probably the most intense ride there. It is a steep drop off. You go straight up. Mike almost flew off the end last time, right, Mike?
I did touch the top. It was a little sketchy.
It's a sketchy ride. And these kids in front of us, the 8-year-old boy, they're trying to show how brave they are. They're like,
hyping each other up.
This is going to be great, man. I'm not scared at all. And I look at the kids and I said, are you guys going to the memorial service tomorrow for the kid that died yesterday on the slide?
Oh my God.
The kid was all happy, brave, and fun until I said the memorial service thing. And he starts you see something in his head and he's like, are for real? I'm like, yeah, man, they had to airlift him out yesterday. A helicopter came in. It was kind of scary, this kid, and all he says was, man, I feel really bad for his parents.
Oh.
And I'm there, and I'm like, that is a legitimate response that, as an 8-year-old, that's the only correct response. And I'm like, that made me feel really bad about it. I'm like, I'm just kidding. And he's like, that's kind of messed up, mister. All
we
right.
have many interactions like this in the lives of children throughout the day.
You gotta scar a child. I was scarred as a child by this sort of stuff. You gotta tell the kids that somebody died on the slide.
And is this your first time doing this?
Yeah. I think the couple of the mini bottles had pushed me the courage to tell these kids that somebody had died on the slide. So yes.
Nice. You popped the bubble.
I popped a bubble. Bronco, like I kept looking back at Bronco, and Bronco's like, Jesus Christ, I guess I'm going with this story too. Like yeah, like the kid's got a memorial, a candlelight vigil, and like he just didn't know what to do because he didn't expect me to say this. All right, Tolbert, other than the birthday party, what other things happened this week in the world of Tolbert? Have you... I know that you got into it with another hippie and somebody wrote a bad review. Tell me what happened there, Tolbert.
Oh man, I almost blocked that out, man. Oh yeah, so it's widespread day 3.
We didn't get to hear about day 3.
Yeah, so this is a 3-night event. People this is what they do. They go all 3 nights, and you've got people that have been partying for 3-4 nights straight, man, just still going. So there's some fatigue, there's some very hungover and wasted people you deal with. But I had just gotten to work, and we had a lady, she brought in a drink from an outside place, which, if you work in a restaurant or a bar, that's a big, you just don't do that. It's a big no. We can get in a lot of trouble for that, Anyway, so we take it away from her, ask her to leave. And her husband comes back and he wants a refund for the beer we took away from her. And in the meantime, he has brought an outside beer in from the back door as well. And I'm trying to calm him down and, look, man, this is not how it works. First of all, I should take that away from you right now, but I'm giving you out, man. Like, I'm going to let you keep that. You just exit out the back door. Right where you came from, just walk away, and when everything will be fine. Well, he keeps pushing, man. He keeps pushing me. I go, look, man, enjoy your show. Just walk away, get out of here. And he keeps on. Well, I got pissed off and I snapped at him. I'm like, look, dude, get out of here. Have a groovy time, man. Just get out. And when I said that, he got very, very angry at me, and I thought I was about to have to dodge the half full beer he's about to throw at me. But yes, he instantly wrote a scathing review.
Is it on Yelp?
That we hate out of towners. It's on her Facebook page. So.
Oh, yeah, I have to read it as soon as we're done.
He said we are belligerent and hate out of towners. Which, sometimes, but in this instance, no. Love out of towners.
Just not widespread panic fans.
Yeah, no.
Hey man, I hope they come back once a year, dude. I met some nice people, but
he got some good money.
Yeah, it was just and he kicked over a trash can on the way out too.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, that wrapped up the saga.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you wrapped up the saga. So that was the trilogy. The first day was A New Hope.
That ended the weekend. Yeah.
yeah. The end of the second night, you're tired. Your father cut off your own hand at the bar. It was The Empire Strikes Back. 3, Kate for Wine and Beer pulled together all of their jungle equipment and just like the Ewoks and defeated the Empire.
Just like the Ewoks.
Just like the Ewoks. You guys are furry enough. You've got that beard. You even look like Wicket, the lovable Ewok friend.
He was my favorite as a child.
Wicket.
I can't watch. That's one of the first movies I will watch with as soon as my child is old enough to enjoy and retain movies. I think the Ewoks movie will be one of the first.
The Witches of Endor.
Yes, it's an amazing movie. I love it.
Or Caravan of Courage, the other one.
I've seen both. We'll watch them all. Speaking of which, tomorrow we will find out what we will be having, a boy or a girl.
Very nice.
We find that. So big day for the Tolbert household tomorrow. We find out if everything's, good and healthy, which everything's right on track as it should be. So big day for us tomorrow.
Does your wife know that you're going to have a bong smoke gender reveal?
No, we're not.
You're gonna put like
I don't think anyone has that technology.
Food dye into the bong, and then once you take a rip, if it's blue smoke coming out of your lungs, it is a boy. If it is
It
pink
doesn't sound
smoke,
healthy.
it sounds terrible. Yes, Cookie.
Tolbert, if you do have a boy, is it going to be named Rob Van Tolbert?
It's on the list.
I don't know if Sabu Tolbert has a good ring to it.
No.
I've already proposed Dory, like you said.
She said no to Dory. That was
a hard no.
All right, Cookie, how was your week?
Oh, it was boring, man. Still recovering from Vegas. Just chilling.
Really? Okay. You playing any video games? What are you doing with your life?
Oh, no. Actually, on Thursday, I went to practice. I went to a rugby practice.
Yes. Tell us about this new rugby practice. Do you feel like you are not bringing enough skill to a real rugby team?
Aaron, I'll tell you this. I walked in. Oh, so I walked up. First, it was raining. So I walked underneath the gazebo because I imagined that that's where they would be at. And I was like, oh, this team's a little young. And they were like, these were high schoolers that we're talking about. They were like, no, I'm from the academy. You want the bigger guys. They're in there. They're across the field. So I walk across the field and they're in their locker room, essentially. And I see the first guy I see is a guy that looks like Odell Beckham. Like he has the hair. He's jacked. He's wearing the all blacks jersey and he has a dangly earring. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I see 4 other big black dudes that look just like him. They're equally as big, if not like just taller. And this is 7th season. So I'm like, holy shit, these guys are fucking big. And then I see I see girls that are like equally like 6 feet tall, if not more. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what a real rugby team looks like. It's just everyone's just like 6 foot or bigger. There's some runts in there, of course. There's some chubby big boys in there too. But there's a lot of athletic guys out there. Let's just say that.
Did they come up to you after practice and say, maybe this level of rugby is not for you?
No, they did not. The coach welcomed me with open arms. And in fact, their coach is a female.
Really?
The board's coach is a female. Yes. I found that out because she has one of the deepest voices I've ever heard in my life, like deeper than mine. And don't look at me like that, Aaron. Don't look at me like that. I wasn't ready for it, okay? I wasn't ready. She said, hey, your name is Cookie, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Cookie. She said, well, welcome on. You're our new prop. I'm like,
oh, hell yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, here we go. Fuck it. Let's do this. And then we just went on with practice, and it was a fun time. But it's 7th practice. So, of course, I was gassed after the first run.
Cookie, did you guys actually scrum and tackle?
We did not scrum nor tackle because it was on turf and it was raining still. So we were just like, no, let's just do some drills. So we just did drills.
You felt a lot more comfortable not having to do things that we have done. We have neglected to do at our practice for
yes. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, okay, we're not doing touch all day. Fuck. This is not Cape Fear. God damn it.
Just like beach vibes.
yeah. No more beach vibes. These are
Beer league beach vibes.
God damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually work.
Boys, did you guys get to watch any Olympics this week?
Yes,
I'm about to catch up. About to catch up on some men's skateboarding for sure. The park is amazing. I'm a huge skateboard fan. Have been forever. I watched some of the random stuff. Like I was telling you, like the rowing, it's cathartic and it gets exciting. I don't know. I get into some of the more random stuff like track and field, like shot put and, things like that. But I love it, man. I watched a little bit of everything.
I watched some fencing before. I've never seen fencing.
I have no clue what's going on in fencing. I just see their faces light up like Daft Punk. And I'm like, I think that's a point.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's a point for them or the other team. I still got to figure that out.
So Friday night, the Olympics start. We, Jasmine and I had just got back from dinner together. We turn on the Olympics opening ceremony, and Jasmine says to me, Aaron, have you done the rundown this week? And I said, Jasmine, no, I have not. So Jasmine says, why don't you do,
by the way,
Olympians? And she said, there's people like Kurt Angle. And I'm like, holy shit, Jasmine, you're a genius. We're going to do Olympians this week. So this week on $2 Steak, we talk about Olympians. All right, for our first Olympian of the day, Bad News Brown, formerly known as Bad News Allen. This man was the first African-American outside of track and outside of, there was one other individual sport to win an Olympic medal. Bad News Allen against Randy Savage. Mike.
All right, Bad News Allen, Randy Savage, WWF title match. I believe it was January 14th, 1989. I don't have a location on it. So it starts out I've never even heard of this Bad News Allen guy. Is there anything else besides that he was an Olympian? Like, what did you do wrestling-wise?
So he actually won a bronze medal in judo, not wrestling, in judo. He started off, he lived in Japan for a couple years, started wrestling, was trained by Antonio Inoki, went to Calgary Stampede in Canada for a little while, trained under Stu Hart. That's where he spent a lot of his time, went to WWF, became Bad News Brown there. Kind of a fun character. He was the typical loner character. He wasn't like a heel that joined up with other heels. He was a guy that was only out for himself.
Well, he's a heel. Video opens up. He's already in the ring. He's cutting a promo on Randy Savage and Elizabeth, basically implying that Elizabeth's in the back doing favors and potentially fellatio on the head usher. Obviously, Randy's coming out hot. One, because he probably didn't like that Bad News said that in general, like for real. And two, because he's ready to whoop his ass anyway. Starts off early. Randy Savage kicks Bad News in the face, it looks like, with his robe still on. He goes and starts choking him out with the robe. And, it's a quick match. It's mostly Randy Savage beating the crap out of this guy, but he does get some offense in. At one point, he tosses Randy Savage over the ropes, and he's beating him up on the outside. He starts running. Bad News starts running after Elizabeth. Thought it was weird. The referee got in the way to help protect Elizabeth. Never really seen that. Most of the time, referees just do nothing and stand there, and I don't even know. They don't even count to 10 sometimes. And long story short, because the match was okay, but it wasn't, spectacular. Randy Savage hits him with a roll-up and wins the title match. I thought that was a unique way to, one, they probably continued the storyline, to for a title match to win like that, where the belt holder wins with a roll-up, is, I don't know if I've actually seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but he was presented in a way that, like, maybe not as strong as Bad News Brown. That's kind of what I took away from it too. I mean, there wasn't a lot of, it's 80s wrestling. It was classic Savage match. There wasn't a ton of like big offense or fancy splashy moves. It was like kind of a condensed version of what you would expect, where the, good guy gets offense, bad guy gets his, and then the bad guy gets his comeuppance. So it was a decent wrestling match. I can tell you the commentary was fucking trash. I don't know who was doing the commentary. Yeah,
he sounded
I wasn't sure either.
Disenthused. Do you remember Major League? And you remember the announcer for Major League, where he's drinking? He's just like, and that's a ball outside. And he's like, not, that was this guy. He was like, I don't know if it was a tryout, but like, and I couldn't tell if there was one or two guys, but it was just bad all around. I think that's one thing that it made it a little bit more difficult to watch this, because you're just, the commentary was not even trying.
I agree with that. It's funny that you bring up Bob Uecker there. He was actually a big deal in WWF Hall of Fame. There you go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? It's full circle.
Member of the WWE Hall of Fame. Mike, anything else before you leave us and go back down the mountain?
No, just hope you guys have a good time in Charlotte. I hope you guys, the Charlotte crowd's going to tear it down anyway. I mean, for the next year, every new place they go that they haven't been, the crowds are going to be hot. But I hope you guys kind of match some of that Texas tenacity that they had, I think 2 weeks ago. Scream, you all better lose your voices.
Well,
and
Charlotte,
I will hope I hope to find a place to watch it.
One last thing. Are you going to be able, are you coming down the mountain for us next week? Or are you going to be in the IGA parking lot again?
I will be back in town to record next week.
All right. Mike, thank you. Have fun in Maine. Get some hiking in. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Cool. I might sneak a photo or two on the Instagram because Tolbert hasn't posted anything in 2 weeks.
Well, we're going on a road trip, so we'll have some content.
Oh, my God.
All right,
Will
buddy.
we ever?
Take it easy, boys.
All right. Cookie for the strong style. Maybe not the strongest of styles that we've talked about, but a character that you like and appreciate. You have got a former Olympian at the Atlanta Olympics, 1996. What was it, 96? Did you do any research?
I did do some research.
Okay.
I'll take it over from here, Aaron.
All right, go ahead.
Mark Henry. Did y'all know that Mark Henry has placed first in over 10 weightlifting competitions from 1991 to 1997?
No shit.
And he also placed first in the Arnold Strongman Classic in 02.
yeah.
That's the one that he's most famous for.
Yep.
Gold, silver, bronze medal winner. He's won it all. He is literally the world's strongest man. It's not just a moniker. Shit's real. He is legit. And then you have Jerry Lawler. I looked into Jerry. Surprisingly so, he's a 58-time Memphis champion. Heavyweight champion.
I think he was also the booker there, so that was the reason why.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm booked.
I'm booked. Don't worry, I'm booked.
Jerry knew that he could trust himself not to take that belt somewhere else.
Oh, of course. He was voted best commentator in 95 and 96, and also the worst commentator in 2002.
I agree with both.
I do too. And of course, go ahead.
Puppies. That's all I have to say was puppies.
I had to Google Jerry Lawler's stats, and would you know that Jerry's engaged to a 32-year-old right now?
I did know that. And he also got busted with a 16-year-old or 14-year-old when he was a big-time person in the 80s.
I believe that because I didn't know he was 71, Aaron, and he's been with this girl for 10 years.
He's been around for a while.
So he's grooming her. He was grooming a 22-year-old back in 2011. Yeah, that's Jerry Lawler. Anyway, we got some Lawlerisms that I also looked up and found some quotes for him. Foley looks like an unmade bed.
Yes.
ECW stands for extremely crappy wrestling.
Yes.
You never really know a woman until you meet her in court.
Whoa.
That's actually one of the truest things ever.
He says to Mark Henry, "Hey, Mark Henry, where are your gold medals?" We all know that if Mark Henry won a gold medal, he'll just take it and have it bronzed. I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't even know what it means. And then the last one, the only reason why I watched the Olympics was to see if one synchronized swimmer drowned, if they all have to drown.
Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler's humor is very much like it's boomer humor, old men humor.
Yep.
But you got to appreciate it a little bit. That's what we all grew up around.
That is true. Puppies. Anyway, this is Mark Henry's debut match, though, at In Your House, Mind Games, 1996. And you can tell because of his gear. I mean, he's wearing the American flag on him.
Would you say that is the USA drip?
Absolutely. And, I was looking at it and I was like, this is actually kind of fresh.
Cookie, I was going to tell you, we had a very fun matchup I had picked on Friday night with World's Strongest Man, the silverback of the SmackDown Jungle version of Mark Henry against Big Show. And it was like this incredible matchup. There was chairs used. It's fun. Yeah. Travis, our art director, put a kibosh to that. And he said, you're talking about Olympics. You have to use Olympic drip, Mark Henry. So he found us this matchup. Not as exciting as the other matchup we had, but it is Mark Henry's debut. What better way?
Thank you, Travis, because the drip makes up for everything that he was lacking in the ring. That drip was fire. But enough about the drip. Let's get to the countdown.
Cookie's top 4. Number 1.
So I just want to point out first that Mark Henry is 6'4" and he's 360 pounds. And that's not saying that Jerry doesn't have some size, because he does. He has some. But he's no Mark Henry. Now, for some reason, Jerry decides to throw his McDonald's coffee on Mark, and then he paintbrushes him before the match starts. My point, Lawler is trying to embarrass the rookie, but here's the R-truth of the situation. Mark Henry was greener than goose turds at this time. So my number 1 is just that Mark Henry was a huge, huge guy, but there's a reason why he didn't do a lot of moves in this match, because he's greener than goose shit. So...
Well, you see him like that. You see him take this stuff. He looks like somebody that plays on Cookie's rugby team in Denver. And
yeah.
This guy is a big dude. You don't want to mess with him. But they saw potential in him. That's why you're putting him with somebody like Jerry Lawler, who is this consummate worker.
Yes. And Jerry Lawler put him over, as they would say in the biz. Because Mark Henry, they made Mark Henry look strong as hell, even though he already is strong as hell. And that's the whole point of this.
Number 2.
Mark Henry looks like a brick wall. King ran at him with all he had twice. Both times took flat back bumps and ended up looking up at the lights. The third time he runs at him, Mark sidesteps him, and Jerry ends up hitting a suicide dive that looked like it came straight out of Ray Phoenix's playbook. He even ran into the guardrail, much like Ray Phoenix does every time with a suicide dive, because for some reason they just like to run at the fucking guardrails full pace and try and take them out. So that's my number 2.
Jim Cornette says that Jerry Lawler never took a crazy bump like Ray Phoenix and these new age wrestlers. He knew how to work. Let's send that clip to Jerry to Jim Cornette and show him that Jerry Lawler was taking those high-risk bumps back in 1996.
Yes. Tolbert, would you mind doing the honors of sending that to Jim Cornette?
Sure. Get right on that.
Number 3.
So Lawler digs in his crotch. I know that's a crazy way to start off my number 3, but what bad guys do is they usually hide their weapons next to their dick for some reason. I don't know why.
Nobody's gonna check that dick.
No one checks the dick. JR.
That's where I should have hit the bottles yesterday at Jungle Rapids.
You should have wore a Speedo and just tuck them around your
That's
junk.
what you should have done. And just grabbed in your crotch as you're next to children.
Then you'd be more aerodynamic on the slide.
Yeah, of course.
Now, JR says Lawler's got something in his right hand. Either that or he's got some personal problems that he needs to take care of.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but I don't know why this made the countdown, but it did because it made me pop. God bless JR. I love you to death. Whatever it was, though, momentarily stunned Big Mark Henry. He hit him a few times across the chin. And then we'll get to number 4.
Cookie, what do you think that it was? You never really get to see if it is a brass knucks or a roll of coins or even from under cheese. What do you think that weapon was?
Let's see here. Jerry Lawler in the early mid 90s. God, guys, what could it have been if it's Jerry Lawler? Let's see here. Roofies.
It was a Limp Bizkit CD.
No. Not yet. Limp Bizkit was still in its infancy stages at that point.
Oh, maybe it was a Kid Rock CD. Kid Rock was big at the time, right?
No, that's 99. Speaking of which, boys, if you haven't watched it, Woodstock 99, the greatest event in all of human history, has a documentary on HBO. It's very eye-opening. Just kidding. It was a shit show, and if people think Firefest was bad, you have to watch this Woodstock documentary. This was my childhood. I was talking to Bronco yesterday. We watched it live on MTV
I did too,
when it was
dude.
happening.
Yeah.
So Woodstock 99 documentary. Cookie, if you get a chance today, watch it and be appalled.
Are you saying that Firefest is not as bad as Woodstock 99?
No.
What?
You have to watch this documentary. Firefest was a drop in the pan compared to the atrocities that happened at Woodstock 99. They interview this guy who was a EMT, and the EMT was like, I've been to war zones, but I never have seen more atrocious things than I did at Woodstock 99.
Oh, dear God.
Watch it if you get a chance. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I'll get to those after number 4.
All right, number 4.
Pissed off Mark Henry is scary. And obviously he's pissed off because he got hit with that foreign object that we still don't know what it is. It could have been a CD. It could have been drugs. Knowing Jerry Lawler, you never know what it could have been. It could have been someone's fake boob. Who knows?
Half roll of quarters.
Or roller quarters. But he hits Jerry with 4 strong knees, and I'm talking about like Muay Thai clinch knees. And then he bops Jerry on the head, and then he puts him in this weird-ass backbreaker submission that I've never seen Mark Henry do, but he does it because, he looks good doing it. It's like a half dominator. But it makes Jerry tap out, and the former Olympian is your victor. Mark Henry takes the dub. Aaron, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just listening, bro. I'm just thinking about how much he evolves his character and everything throughout the years. This is before Sexual Chocolate. Mark Henry starting off rather white meat babyface at that point. He's this guy that's gonna come in and save WWF.
I didn't even mention it, but with that swag came a pretty some funky music that came with it.
Not 3-6 Mafia, I'll tell you that.
No, it didn't bump like 3-6 Mafia, but I was bobbing my head. I bobbed it a couple of times. I was like, all right, Mark, I see what you're doing here. And he even had the American flag hat to go along with it. Drip God. Mark Henry is the original Drip God.
So we have Shinsuke Nakamura as the king of strong style. Mark Henry, the king of USA drip style, I think.
Absolutely. 100%. And I'm glad that Travis suggested this because I couldn't do as much with what was it? The silverback of the WWE?
The SmackDown Jungle.
Yeah. Sorry. Silverback of the SmackDown Jungle. Yes, exactly. God, who the fuck came up with that bad idea?
Vince McMahon.
100% Vince McMahon.
Honorable mentions?
My first one, who the fuck is Leif Cassidy?
That's Al Snow.
That's Al Snow?
That's Al Snow.
Oh, okay. Well, my next question was when did Marty Jannetty get a new partner? And I said, what was this around the time that he killed the drug dealer for him behind the bowling alley?
No, that was much earlier.
Oh, okay, never mind. So he's a murderer at this time.
Yes.
So Leif Cassidy, Al Snow come out. Marty Jannetty comes out. Post killing, Marty Jannetty comes out. Hunter Hearst Helmsley comes out. All of them, especially Hunter Hearst Helmsley, picked up and thrown outside onto Leif Cassidy and Marty Jannetty. It was a beautiful press slam by Henry, just throwing Triple H onto some other no-name people, as I would like to say. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Is that Mark Henry is just a strong motherfucker. It doesn't matter how many people you throw at him. 4, 3, doesn't matter.
So Cookie, I know it's not maybe maybe not worthy of a cookie count per se, this matchup. Cookie, what Olympic medal would this get?
This would get a bronze medal.
Okay.
It'd get a bronze. Because Mark looked so good, and the drip made up for it, a lot of it. I was really gonna say this is gonna go myrrh, like South Park. It was gonna go myrrh, but I think I'll give it a bronze.
Okay. Speaking of medals, the gold medal matchup of the evening, and one I'm very excited about talking about. Cookie, let me tell you, I was talking to one Chris Tolbert at Jungle Rapids yesterday, and I said, Tolbert, I'm very excited about your matchup. You get your first Eugene matchup. And Tolbert says, I am not familiar with Eugene's character.
I wasn't watching wrestling really at this time.
And I get it. And I thought to myself, boy, how is he going to skirt around this? Tolbert, your matchup for the evening, Eugene against Kurt Angle.
How did anybody skirt around this? Jesus Christ.
You can't.
So, all right. This is a time of my life where I wasn't really watching, WWE. It just, I was older. I was, this is probably like I was mid-20s at this point, probably.
Why would you not be watching during such compelling characters as Eugene?
Because every time I would turn it on, it'd be like Eugene. It would be this match. Every time I turned on wrestling, I would go, never mind. I'll come back to this later. But, yes, so we have Kurt Angle versus Eugene, which Kurt comes out first to his famous anthem, "You Suck," and we are in where are they at? They're in Cleveland.
They're in
right?
Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland, Ohio. So, they're booing him because he's from Pennsylvania. Automatic heat right off the bat. Man, he comes out. They're really getting to the "You Suck" chant. Apparently, Angle has been laying down the Angle Invitational Challenge over the past few weeks. So he's put his gold medal on the line to anyone that can stay in the ring with him for more than 3 minutes without tapping out. So he's been running through the challengers all through the weeks, and he comes to the stage and he says, "Hey, I want an actual opponent, man. I've been tapping out motherfuckers left and right. Give me an actual opponent." So the music hits, and it's the I'm not familiar with her either. Miss Christy, what's her last name?
Hemme.
Yeah, Christy Hemme comes out to the ring. He's like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna. What gives?" And then Angle makes a very dirty wrestling position comment to Christy as well. And she's like, "Hey, you calm down, man. I'm not here to wrestle you. I'm gonna tell you who you're wrestling. He's our hometown hero." That's what he's called for. He's called for a hometown hero of Cleveland, Ohio, to come and face him. And I guess Vince just wanted to take a big dump over Cleveland, Ohio, because he sends out Eugene. Which, how do I describe Eugene? He is a very well built wrestler, but his gimmick at the time, he plays a mentally challenged wrestler that is I don't know how to go around this. And he does some very offensive things to portray some very insensitive things to portray this character. Yeah.
So the guy that plays him, Nick Dinsmore, actually an incredible professional wrestler. The character Eugene, was he the half brother of Eric Bischoff, Cookie?
He was a half brother.
Yeah, so he was Eric Bischoff's sibling, and they have him come out. So he's a wrestling super fan and wrestling savant. That's how they portray him. He's special in other ways, but he's a very into professional wrestling. So his character would steal other moves from professional wrestlers. He would do the rock bottom. He'd do the stunner. He'd do all these moves because he studies professional wrestling and loves it. but
Yes.
he's a happy-go-lucky guy.
And he does some very offensive, weird things with his hands and his tongue to portray the character. It's like, whoa, Vince, what are you doing, man? But I guess this is a time where they can get away with it. You know, if you read some of the comments on this thread, it's it's like how this would never fly. but he's actually really good shape. He looks like he's a legit guy. He's a big dude. But he comes out, he's the music hits, the crowd of Cleveland, Ohio is very happy he's there. He gets a huge pop from the crowd. They love him. He's wearing a Browns jersey.
Of course.
Crowd loves it. He's so excited. He tries to give Kurt a hug. He wants to give him a hug. He's so excited. He's there. He's clapping his hands and running all around. Jersey blows his nose on it, and he rubs it in his butt crack. Yeah. He gets some serious heat for defacing the Cleveland Browns jersey. Well, he goes to beat the shit out of Eugene for a little bit. We're getting down towards the end of the clock. Remember, his gold medal's on the line. He has to stay in the ring for 3 minutes. And if he does it, he wins the gold medal. Well, he makes short work of him. Angle goes for his patented ankle lock to finish the match. There's like 10 seconds on the clock. Well, Eugene pulls a sneaky switcheroo, throws him. He reverses the ankle lock, throwing Angle through the metal ropes to the outside, stuns Angle. Eugene hops up, watches the countdown gleefully, and wins the gold medal. Angle is pissed. He chases him away, but they make a quick getaway with Miss Christie, and Eugene's the winner. And,
so he also won the gold medal. We just touched on that. So what did you think about the Olympian in this one, Kurt Angle? He's the man. He's definitely the bad guy in this. They make him out to be a heel. He draws some cheap heat. He gets some boosts from the crowd. The crowd does not like him, and his character seems to be just grasping the fact that he is an old Olympic medalist, and that's kind of what he's doing with his character. I will say that Kurt Angle is probably one of the biggest or names to come into professional wrestling from the Olympics, and one of the greatest performers in WWF history. I think he's incredible coming in and learning his craft so quickly and being able to perform at such a high level. I wanted to touch on him because he's an amazing performer. We all love Kurt Angle here. And Eugene.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we all love Eugene. I love what King says towards the end of the match is that he probably doesn't even know what that medal is made out of.
Damn it, Jerry.
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry has some funny zingers in this match as well. So.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
But yeah, very quick match. Definitely a high spot Olympic worthy match as well. But yes.
You know, originally when I was coming up with this list, I'm like, Kurt Angle, that's going to be Mike's match. So Mike can talk a little bit about how special Kurt Angle was as a performer. I look up Kurt Angle verse, and one of the things I get was Kurt Angle versus Eugene, and I'm like, we're going to give Tolbert a high spot match with Kurt Angle.
I'm going to have to go look up some more Eugene stuff now.
It's something. It's something. Tolbert, give me your haiku.
Eugene heeds the call. Angle's medal on the line. Eugene's just in time.
All right.
Just in time.
Boys, I'm going to start packing my bag right now for Wednesday night in Charlotte.
Woo!
We are excited. Next week on the podcast, it's going to be yet another very special episode of the podcast. We're not going to be talking about any matches except for the matches that happen at AEW Dynamite. We're going to have a recap of us going there. Cookie's going to have some FOMO. Mike's going to definitely have some FOMO because he's the most FOMO-ridden person I know. It is going to be very exciting. Tolbert and I with Byron and Travis. It's going to be a trip.
It is. It'll be something.
Thank you for listening to $2 Steak of Pro Wrestling Podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for another exciting edition.